Get ready for the tech zone. Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Pacific time zone. Add the app to your cell phone. Call Amadeus Lane Zone. With informative interviews and breakthroughs with CEOs and gurus and who's and reviews. Count on Paul to bring y'all the news. Yeah, he done paid dues and never snoozed, refused to lose and stayed humble and still played by the rules. On the scene since 16, Pop's been Paul's gasoline. Spiritual house have to stay clean. Put the kingdom first, y'all know the routine. In the world, the sun clean disaster, it's the vaccine, so quarantine or relive the emphysema epidemic of 1918.
I am so happy to have you with me. It's been a little while, but I am back, recharged, and so happy to be with you. Took a little time off so that I can relax, catch my breath, and I just didn't feel like doing any shows. I just want to be honest with you. Just the way things are going around the world and just the dialogue of hatred, I just didn't want to deal with it. So I took a little time off and chilled for a while. That's what I did. So on our show today, we're going to be joined by some very special guests. And before I talk about my guests, I just wanted to share my views on this whole COVID thing. You're probably saying, Paul, I don't want your opinion. If you don't, I totally understand. But I wanted to just chime in on a couple things. Let me see which one do I want to do first. Why don't we say school openings, right? We have everybody chiming in about should we open schools, should we not open schools. One thing we do know is that our children need to be educated. It's funny how people are discounting the fact of something we've been doing even before this pandemic. That's homeschooling, virtual learning. And I guess they think that we forgot it exists. Here's one of the things that really baffles me when it comes to opening schools. You notice how people who are pushing to have it open are not saying anything about whether it should be done safe or not, right? We need to open schools. Okay, but what about safety? They don't mention that. So what does that mean for you and I? I don't have any kids. I'm not responsible for any children. But I feel for you parents and grandparents and guardians who are. Do you need someone to tell you to do something? If they say we're going to open schools, are you going to send your child there? Knowing that there is a health risk, knowing there could be potential outbreaks that could bring it home to you, the whole family, are you going to let your child go without any precautions? And we know most parents will not. But there may be some parents who want to prove a point. And for those who want to prove a point, this is just my 2 cents. Why are you going to gamble with your child's life? It's kind of like being in a car. We know the laws are seatbelts. But you want to prove a point. I can do what I want to as my kid. I can do what I want to. You do that, God forbid, tragic accident, kid flies out of the car, becomes paralyzed, or worse, even loses their life. How was that decision? You did what you wanted to do, but was it worth it? Why are so many people concerned about proving a point to people who don't care about you in the first place? People don't. People have agendas. That's why you have to worry about your families and keep your family safe. And don't play around with your kids' safeties. What would you do if you knew of a parent that allowed their child to walk across the street, incoming traffic, putting their life at risk? Well, no doubt you would talk to that parent. You'd also alert the authorities and, So try to use that mindset when it comes to your children and your choice. Keep them safe. don't try to prove a point. All right. Now, let's talk about coronavirus. I know it has nothing to do with tech right now, but I just wanted to get this off my chest. If you notice, I had to reposition myself for this. All right. Here in the United States, we know that the coronavirus is on the rise. Today, we haven't got the numbers yet of how many have been infected, but we know that Dr. Fauci has been telling us for months that don't play around with this virus. This is something very, very serious. I remember when they, started to open up California. I was like, I hope people take precautions. But this is what I noticed in California. When I would go out and get gas, I noticed people not wearing masks. I noticed people not social distancing. And this was around May when they started opening up things, right? I started seeing people on social media talking about our gym is open. We're going to defy the governor. We're going to do this. And I just think to myself, what if you're wrong? And is it going to kill anybody not going to a gym and work out? Now, I understand you have a business, you want to run successfully, unprecedented times. I definitely understand that. But this is 2 points I want to make. The game of dominoes. How many of you have ever played the game of dominoes? In the hood, we played dominoes all the time. Used to play it with the 40 ounce of the brown paper bag, but that's neither here or there. But in dominoes, the object of the game is the score, and fives are zeros, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20. There's a saying in dominoes: all money ain't good money. Now let me explain that to our domino challenge friends out there. If you have a chance to score like a 5, you can get that money, that 5. But that 5 may cost you 30. You get it? So if you decide to do something, you may pay for it in the long run. And we're starting to see that now throughout the country. People were openly defiant. I would see people on social media, I get to go outside and do this. We can get together as a family. I mean, just discounting what the experts have been telling us. And now this thing is out of control. In California, the governor started to revamp some of the openings. I'm sure in your state we're starting to see the same. Why? Because people did not take this serious. I mean, I really don't get it. If you run across a busy freeway, you might get hit. So you're not going to do it. If you have a cavalier attitude when it comes to this pandemic, there's a good chance that you might get something or you might give it to someone. I've lost friends to COVID-19. This is very, very, very serious. We look at what's going on in other countries. Italy. Is Italy a country or France? I don't know. I get mixed up. Geography is not my strong point. But in other parts of the world, you're starting to see countries opening up and being able to do certain things. How come we can't ask them what they're doing? It's kind of like the neighbor garden analogy. For instance, my neighbor across the street has a wonderful garden. I go to him and say, yo, your garden's pretty dope. And of course, this is pre-pandemic. I can't go over there now. But I'm like, yo, I love your garden. It's awesome. He tells me, hey, Paul, if you want to get your garden looking like mine, this is what you have to do. And he gives me the rundown. He takes the time to write down in instructions because he wants me to succeed. So I look at his instructions and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it my own way. And then I go back to him and say, yo, my garden doesn't look like yours. He asked me, did you do this? No. Did you do that? No. Did you do that? No. Well, why do you expect that your garden's going to look like mine? If we're not doing the same things in this country that other countries are doing, should we expect any other result? No. People, let's use our power of reason. Let's use our mind, not lose our mind. And then that brings up about sports, and I'm just going to leave this out here. Sports. I love sports. I'm conflicted. Will I watch it? People putting their lives at stake. And that's something I really need to come to grips with. For our entertainment, this is what they're doing. Why? Because these businesses want to make money. Remember, all money is not good money. And please, please be safe out there. Don't take this cavalier approach when it comes to your friends, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your family's health. I'm sorry. I can't talk this morning or today. Your family's health. Please, please stay safe. Hey, so what do you think about our new set, new logo, new intro? Huge shout out to my man Disaster, who spit bars on that track and also did the music. And my boy from Ink Park, John, the logo. And also my buddy John over at Killer Pumpkins, who did some logo remapping and our new frames and everything too. So thank you so much for your support. New logo, new day. Everyone please stay safe. When we get back, why don't we talk about some of the things that our friends at Verizon are doing when it comes to technology and how that technology can even help us during this pandemic. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. That was my 10 minutes of rant. If you liked it, cool. If you didn't, I really don't care. If you don't care about your life, I can't care more about something that you don't care about. But I will not give up on you, and I will continue to help you. But I don't care if you like it or not. All right, Tech Zone, Paul Amadeus Lane. Be right back after these messages. All right, we are in a network break right now. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in right now. I can't see you now because we're playing commercials back at the station at ABC News, but I wanted to at least crack my mic a little bit. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Tech Zone. You know, I was like listening to YouTube before I came on today, and a song popped in my mind. It was a song I couldn't stand when I was younger, but it was called I Swear by... what was the name of that group? As One, I forget. But it went, I swear. And one part of the show, I'm tripping today. One part of the song, the guy had these words, and they were like profound. It was, let's build these dreams with these two hands. Let's build these dreams with these two hands. I mean, for some reason, every day when I'm listening to YouTube, all these random thoughts jump in my head. I know I'm crazy, but hey, we're getting ready to come out this break. Thank you so much for tuning into the Tech Zone. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. Here we go, folks.
Get ready for the Tech Zone. Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Pacific Time Zone. Add the app to your cell phone. Paul Amadeus Lane Zone. With informative interviews and breakthroughs with CEOs and gurus and who's and reviews. Count on Paul to bring y'all the news. Yeah, he done paid dues and never snooze. Refused to lose and stayed humble and still played by the rules. On the scene since 16, Pop's been Paul's gasoline. Spiritual house have to stay clean. Put the cleaner first, y'all know the routine. In the world, the sun clean disaster. It's the vaccine, so quarantine. Or relive the emphysema epidemic of 1918.
Welcome back to the Tech Zone. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. Hey, you digging the new set? You digging the new theme music? Yeah. Time for a revamp. You know, sometimes you have to do that to stay fresh and stay relevant out there. But thank you so much for joining me on the show today. What are some cool gadgets that we can talk about? Well, our friends over Verizon. Hello, welcome back. Tech Zone, Paul Amadeus Lane. Digging a new set? Digging a new music? I'm digging you. Yes, I am. Summertime. Always a fun time, even during this pandemic. There are a lot of things that we can do. Our friends at Verizon have some cool tech that you definitely want to get your hands on. Things that can help us out even during this pandemic and beyond. What are they? My next guest is going to tell us what it is. And I'm so happy to have with me now Verizon tech expert Diana Alvarez joining me. Diana, how are you?
Paul, so good to be here. Oh my gosh, I'm so geeked out that I'm your first guest with this new fabulous set. It's really good to be here.
Hey, thank you so much for noticing. This is so cool. That's one thing we always notice when we change things. Nobody notices, but I'm so glad you noticed. Thank you so much. The team gives you applause out there. Thank you so much, Diana. And I'm geeked out too because I am a technophile. I love tech, love gadgets. And the cool thing about it is there is some amazing apps that Verizon has out there that not only can help us out when it comes to health, but other things as well. So what do you want to talk about first, my dear?
All right, Paul. Well, I think the main thing for all of us these days is we're starting to feel really cooped up. Now, we're doing our part. You know, we're trying to stay safe. We're staying within the confines of our own homes as much as possible. But if you can, try to get outdoors and stay safe. And we're going to give you some methods on how you can do exactly that. So first and foremost, Paul, you would never think of leaving your house and hitting the outdoors without your smartphone, right? I mean, this is just common sense that you're going to take your phone with you and make sure that you have it on you in case of emergency or anything like that. But one thing I think that we don't think about often enough is the earbuds or headphones that we have with us. And these days, wire phones are out. Like, we don't want to be using anything that has like dangling cords or anything like that, because it's just going to get in the way. I know that for me, when I'm working out outside and I have those things dangling, it's just really annoying. So right now, I am wearing the Google Pixel Buds, and these Google Pixel Buds are the reason why you hear me so clearly and why I hear you so clearly. It's got incredible sound quality. They're not messing with anything. They're not going to bump into anything. I can wear earrings and they still sound great. But if you're outdoors, one of the things that I really like about them is that you get 100-yard range for your Bluetooth. So you don't even have to have your phone in your hand necessarily, and they're still going to work. Plus, they're water and sweat resistant. So get that sweat on, get those endorphins going, and you can still hear your music and feel really good and pumped and finish that run.
And that's one thing I noticed how clear you sound, and that's just coming from the buds right there.
Yeah. I was actually blown away at the quality, because I was thinking that there's no way that something this small is going to sound so good. And I also kind of, using the word geeked, I kind of geeked out on the little carrying case. Look, it's like this little space age egg,
so cute.
And then you open it up and then you can charge them in this. So this goes right in your pocket. You don't have to think about it. You know, I mean, you don't have all this big bulky stuff. You can just hit the outdoors and go.
Now, Diane, I want to play some 80s like trivia with you, talking about an egg. What old comedy sitcom where a guy came out of an egg and he said "nanu nanu"? Remember that?
Nanu nanu. Yep. Mork and Mindy. Hello.
There you go. And
huge Robin Williams fan here.
And that egg kind of reminds me of that. That is so cool. And even though, you know, I appreciate you not cord shaming me, all these cords that I have, and you know, and that's one thing that we're starting to see a lot of people go to are the buds. When I interview folks now, even on national television now, they're going toward these buds, and the technology is incredible with the sound that you're able to get from them. I don't know, Diana, I may have to get me some of them because they look smooth and it sounds good.
Honey, I'm your bud evangelist, okay? So I'm going to try and win you over with my gospel today.
No, I really, really appreciate it. Now, and one thing, too, I notice, Diana, one thing I notice is when we talk about cords and working out and being outside, cords are really unsanitary, to me, because I know,
Mm-hmm.
like, whenever I wear them, they may dip and touch something and all these things. And bugs
Mm-hmm.
kind of keep us a more sanitized environment, even though we're not medical doctors or experts. But I just wanted to throw those 2 cents there. So please go ahead and continue.
Yeah.
I
Okay. Well,
digress for a little while. I'm sorry.
no, absolutely. You're so right about that, because the entire theme of what I'm telling you today is safety. I mean, it's something that we have to keep in mind right now, and it's not just about keeping myself safe. It's about keeping you safe. It's about keeping our kids safe. And on that topic, I wanted to tell you a little bit about this. This is the Gizmo 2 watch. So this is a fun thing because kids notice the kind of tech that you have. Like, they see your smartphone, they see all the things that you can do with it, and they want something cool of their own. So this basically looks like they have their own smartwatch, right? It's super cool. It's got like these cool blue bands, and they can also send you messages through it. So they're wearing it. They could be playing outside, and then they could send you something saying, I'm coming back in, or this is where I am. And these days, when so many of us are kind of cooped up and having to work, our kids still want freedom to go outside. I mean, it's summertime, So if they're wearing this is going to give them the freedom that they're craving, and it's going to give you the peace of mind that you need. Not only that, but it's got another really cool feature that me as a parent, I love. So let's say you have an older child, right, that can ride their bike to a friend's house, or maybe they're going to grandma's house or something, and you want them to check in. But kids sometimes forget, right? Because they're kids. So you can geo-fence areas for this watch. So that means that the minute that their bike enters that location, you get pinged on your phone. And that way, even if they forget, you have the peace of mind of knowing that they made it to where they're supposed to be safely. And you're not like all on top of them, being super uncool, not giving them freedom.
I love that, because you're absolutely right. I don't have any children, but I have a niece and I have a nephew. And whenever we hang out together, I'm like, hey, where you at? What time are you going to be there? Let me know. And this is really cool. And one thing I like about it, too, is that how Verizon really looked at fashion when they created this, too, because it's sharp. I mean, you can coordinate with a lot of things.
Oh, I know.
And I just love how simple it looks to you. So parents can figure it out, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do a throwback for the 80s, I mean, remember we were all about Swatch watches, and part of the appeal was that they had the bright colors and the patterns and stuff. And so for kids, it's like you're wearing something like this and you look sharp, and it doesn't look like a GPS device that your parents are actually using to keep track of you. You just look really cool.
And I guess the thing is, Diana, is that we don't let them know it's a GPS device. We say, hey, I bought you a cool watch, right?
Exactly. And Paul, there's another device I want to show you that kind of goes hand in hand with that Gizmo 2. For those of us that have elderly parents or senior loved ones in our life that we're concerned about, this is called the Care Smartwatch. And see, like, it's a really cool looking smartwatch. It's something that would be fun to wear, that looks good, it's stylish. But it's also a really good way of giving the people who are taking care of those loved ones some peace of mind without taking away freedoms from those senior loved ones. But basically, the way it works is that, again, you know where they are at all times. But you can also program this watch to, for example, have the doctor's schedules, right? So if you have a doctor's appointment coming up, this is going to notify you, ping you, remind you that this is coming up. You can also put in medication schedules in there. So sometimes there's that concern, did they remember to take their medication? You don't want them to take it twice. So this is another really great way of making sure that they've taken it. And then, of course, this is always going to link back to your smartphone because you have the matching app, and you can keep track on your phone of everything that's going on. So really just another great way of making sure that your loved ones have the freedom that they crave, while also giving you the peace of mind to know that they're okay. And if they're not okay, that you're the first one to know.
Something tells me that we may have to employ the same strategy we did with the teenagers. Instead of saying, hey, mom and dad or grandma, grandpops, this is something for me to keep track of. It's like, hey, I bought you something that's pretty cool. Check it out.
You got it. You got it. And on a final note, I just want to point out something really, really cool that I didn't know about until recently. But, we are in a pandemic. We are dealing with concerns about the coronavirus and everything. And we want to stay as safe as possible. So make sure if you're going to download any other app, it's your first aid app. Okay. This is free on Google Play and the Apple App Store, and it's by the American Red Cross. And what you're doing essentially is you're arming yourself with the tools in case of, a minor emergency. What do I do with a bug bite, or what do I do if I get hurt and I'm outdoors? This also has ways to contact emergency services in a variety of languages if you happen to be someplace else that's, not America, and just a lot of really good tips. And as you can see here, that of course they're leading with the coronavirus safety tips for your area. So once again, arm yourself with safety so that you can go out and enjoy the outdoors. And that's what it is about right now. It's like you've got to get outside for peace of mind. You've got to get out there so that you're not cooped up inside, but you need to do it safely. Right, Paul?
I love it. And that app, these devices, I mean, what a great time to be alive, to be able to have devices that we can check on our loved ones. And that first aid app is pretty awesome. I mean, so it can actually run through some things if you run into a situation that can help you out.
Yeah. And I do a woods walk every weekend with my son because he's got to get out of the house. He's got to go explore and get dirty and stuff. And we love it. But knowing that I have that app on my phone, in case something goes wrong, I mean, he's a kid. He's going to climb things. He's going to fall. He's going to bump himself. He's going to get a scrape. He might get stung by something. And at least with this app, I know that in the immediate situation, I have some sort of resource I can turn to.
I love it. And Diana, before I let you go, what is the coolest thing about a smartphone that you appreciate personally? What's like the coolest thing? So you work for Verizon, you have the inside scoop. So what is kind of the coolest thing you like?
Honestly, for me, it's this is so embarrassing, but I have a horrible sense of direction, Paul. Like, I'm the kind of person that can drive, like, I will go to the wrong place and have no idea what I did wrong, right? So I live and die by the maps function and Waze and things like that. And so I'm so grateful every freaking single day that I have a smartphone that allows me to get to where I need to go safely. Because if I were to rely on myself, that would not be good.
It was crazy. I was talking to some of my friends over at Google, and they asked me the same thing. What's like the coolest thing when it comes to assistive and adaptive technology in the smartphone? And I said the same thing. Like I said, just to be able to do a screenshot with my voice. I mean, because before I'd always have to ask my wife or my family member, hey, can you do a screenshot for me? And I'd have to wait till they got home or something. But now I can just say, hey, Google, take a screenshot. And it takes a screenshot. Just the little things, right, Diana?
Yeah. And, one of my best friends that I grew up with, her sister is disabled and has been in a wheelchair her whole life. And let me tell you what a blessing having the internet and smartphones and devices as such and social media has been for her, because it's opened up her world and it enables us to stay in touch and to know how she's doing. And she's part of so many different communities. And so to me, I think that having these kinds of devices and this connection to a bigger world is one of the best things that could have happened to anybody with a disability. I mean, we crave freedom, right? And we want freedom. And this is allowing freedom for everybody.
Tell me about it. And really enjoyed everything you had in store for us. Now, how can we find out more information about some of these great devices that we talked about?
All you have to do is go to Verizon.com. I mean, I no joke, have been a Verizon customer for 25 years. I mean, I was an early Verizon person, and I've never been given a reason to stop being a Verizon customer because I find they have great service. I mean, the fact that if you have an unlimited plan that you can automatically have hotspot services. So that's another reason you can get outside and you can work outside. So all you need to do is go to Verizon.com. You're going to find out information about all of this and much, much more. And Paul, I've had so much fun with you. You can invite me back anytime.
I was just about to say that. Can you come back and hang with me some more?
Yes!
All right.
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
We definitely did. I always enjoyed talking about tech and enjoyed you. Thank you so much. Be safe out there. And a lot of food for thought when it comes to technology, especially technology and safety, what Verizon is doing. Appreciate you and appreciate what you guys are doing at Verizon.
Absolutely. Hugs to you, my friend. Stay safe.
Virtual hugs.
Virtual hugs.
A huge shout out and another virtual hug to my friend, Diana Alvarez, Verizon Tech expert, giving us the 411 on the cool and awesome tech. handsets out there that Verizon has for our enjoyment this summer. All right. When we get back, we're going to talk about ghost kitchen. What is a ghost kitchen? It's not nothing to do with the paranormal or things like that, but it's really a thing that is becoming a reality, especially during this pandemic. Stay tuned. We're going to talk more about that. All right, we're in the network break. Paul Amadeus Lane, thank you so much for tuning in to the Tech Zone. The last break, I was trying to remember who sung that song. I swear it's All for One. That was the name of the group. And the lyrics went like this. I was tripping last episode. It's hot in the studio. But went like this. I'll give you everything I can. I'll build your dreams with these two hands. We'll hang some memories on the wall. See, I'm not a singer. I'm just joking around, but I want to let you know I wasn't crazy. Hey, more Tech Zone coming up. Stay tuned.
Get ready for the Tech Zone. Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Pacific Time Zone. Add the app to your cell phone. Paul Amadeus Lane Zone. With informative interviews and breakthroughs with CEOs and gurus and who's and reviews. Count on Paul to bring y'all the news. Yeah, he done paid dues and never snoozed. Refused to lose and stayed humble and still played by the rules. On the scene since 16, Pop's been Paul's gasoline. Spiritual house have to stay clean. Put the cleaner first, y'all know the routine. In the world, the sun clean disaster, the vaccine, so quarantine, or relive the emphysema epidemic of 1918.
Welcome back to the Tech Zone. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. I hope you're doing fantastic. Hope you're keeping yourself safe and your family during this pandemic. This is our third and final segment of the show. I can't believe it. We're here. Glad to be back after about a month-long hiatus. Hope you're digging the new set, the new theme music, and just the whole new vibe we got going on here in the Tech Zone. Oh, and I can't forget the new logo. Check it out. Yeah, pretty sweet, ain't it? All right, ghost kitchens. What is a ghost kitchen? It has nothing to do with the paranormal, but it has something to do that may be a new normal because of this pandemic of COVID-19 and how this is going to change the game when it comes to restaurants. I have a good friend who is a robotics expert, and he posted this on the Twitter. As soon as I checked it out, I put a call out to him and said, yo, we definitely got to talk about this because this is something that's really going to hit close to home, especially as indoor dining has closed in many parts of the country. So what does this mean for the restaurant industry? How will they be able to stay afloat? And what does it mean for you and I with our dining experience? Why don't we find out right now? And I'm so happy to have with me right now robotics expert and CEO of Picnic, my man, Clayton Wood. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing well, Paul. How are you?
Great to see you, my friend. I am doing okay. Last time we talked, we were a little bit more optimistic, but we see everybody decided to do their own thing, and here we're at full-blown pandemic again with hopefully some relief in sight, but it really doesn't look that way. But this is what I wanted to do, C-Dub. I wanted to have you on. It was something you tweeted that just caught my eye, and I was like, please, Clayton, if you're available today, let's chat about it. And you were so grateful to do it. And it was ghost kitchens. And when I looked at the article, it made sense to me, especially in this pandemic, how this would have been the future many years from now. But now things have been kind of accelerated. And Clayton, for some of the ones who may not be aware what a ghost kitchen is, why don't we give an explanation of what it is and what really got us here that this now is accelerated now?
Sure, happy to do that. So ghost kitchen, some places it's called a cloud kitchen, or in Europe they call them dark kitchens. Ghost kitchen is simply a restaurant type facility, commercial food preparation, restaurant without a dining room. That's why they call it a ghost kitchen. And these started to emerge over the last couple of years because pickup and carry out was becoming more popular relative to dine in. That was an existing trend. And then, of course, with COVID, all these trends are accelerated to the max. So what might have taken years to play out is happening really quickly now, where they're dining in a restaurant is a rare experience these days. Some places you can't even do it. And so restaurants to survive are turning fully to delivery and pickup only, and patrons are looking to get delivery. So the delivery market's taking off, the dine-in market is crashing, and ghost kitchens are, as a concept, are right there. It's the right idea for the current circumstance.
I totally agree. And the other day we went and picked up some curbside from a restaurant out here in California, and we know that the governor out here said no indoor dining, but what shocked me was that these little pop-ups, outdoor dining. And Clayton, you know me, I love food. I love to get my grub on, but it's not that serious. I'm not going to sit outside during a pandemic where I can have close proximity with someone who coughs and I'm in that line. So why do we think, well, I think we know the answer to that question, but why are some restaurants going that route and not really the ghost kitchen route? Is it because of revenue, because of staff? Your expert opinion, how come more have not jumped on when they really should during this pandemic?
It's a paradigm shift. It's a really tough change for restaurants. We're talking to customers who were, let's say, 80, 90% dine-in, and now it's 90% plus pickup and carry out. It's a really different operation, and it's hard to transform yourself into that. If you think about the different, it's not just you're preparing food and you're packaging it for carry out, but the whole dynamic is different. If you're serving dine-in customers and the dishes are coming out of the kitchen, sometimes they're on time, sometimes they're a little late. People at their table are having a drink. They don't notice that it's 5 or 10 minutes late. If you're doing delivery and you prepare a dish and the driver doesn't show up and the dish is sitting there for 10 minutes on the shelf before somebody picks it up, you've degraded the quality of that significantly for the person who's going to get it. By the same token, if the driver shows up and the dish isn't ready, that's a different kind of a problem. So you've really got to change your operation to be much more time sensitive, much more like a food factory than if you're doing a dine-in service. So it's a big transformation for operators, and some of them would really prefer not to just completely go all in for that. Change is hard. It's going to take time.
And this is one thing that, as I hear you speak right now, Clayton, is that I wonder if you have some hidden cameras in my house because of what I recently dealt with. We ordered some delivery, and on the app it lets you know when they actually left the establishment, right? So I saw that my driver left the establishment about 10 minutes, still hadn't brought my food. And to me, I'm trying to keep the economy afloat in my local area because I know we're being hit because of this pandemic. It seems like some of these delivery services that are being used, and I can't fault them because they're trying to get their hustle on too to pay their bills, but when they are not bringing food at the proper time and temperatures start to suffer, we have an issue there. So what can be done in that light, Clayton? How can more robotics or more ghost kitchens help meet that need right there? Because that's about the third time it happened to me, and I always go online and voice my displeasure, but no one wants to hear from me. So what can help us out, Clayton?
Yeah, I wish I had great news for you, Paul. It's going to take some time for some of these things to take hold. We're talking to companies who have software that coordinates the order sequence with the delivery orders. So you've got some operators, they know where the delivery drivers are, they know when the drivers are going to arrive. They're dynamically reordering the preparation queue so that the order is ready when the driver gets there, not way before, not way after. Um, Other operators we're talking to, they haven't even consolidated their delivery orders. So they've got 10 different iPads sitting on a counter, and these orders are coming in all over the place. They have no idea what's going on. So it's a really a mixed bag. There's some great companies out there that have software that coordinates the orders and consolidates them. But even when you have that, if you know when the driver is going to be there, you're delivering that order back to the back of the house to a human crew, and the human crew is doing the best they can. They're going to work on the orders. Okay, this is what I got to get done. This is where even more automation is going to come into play, and we think it's a big advantage is if the software that's tracking where the drivers, when are they coming, is synchronized with automated food prep, so that automated food prep knows when the orders are going to be ready. You can actually synchronize that, dynamically reshuffle the order, and optimize the readiness so the order is ready just as the driver gets there, because the quality degrades significantly minute by minute after it comes out of the oven. No dine-in restaurant would let the order sit around for 20 minutes before they took it to your table. And so there's already a drive time. So you're already operating from a deficit if you're doing delivery. You don't want to waste any time with the order there. And the delivery drivers, we all know, we read the articles, delivery is a tough business to make a buck. The delivery drivers can only do that if they're efficiently working. They're not making money when they're standing there waiting for an order.
Right. I totally get that. And I wonder if you were following my Twitter tweet, because my Twitter feed, because again, Clayton, this happened to me a couple of weeks ago. We picked up some curbside and a well-known Italian establishment, and we got there about 10 minutes before my food was supposed to be ready. So we called about 10 minutes later when we got there and said, hey, we're here to pick up our food. The host said, okay, we'll be out there as soon as we can. Right there, that was a red flag. And I was like, what do you mean as soon as you can? So I said, no problem. So I waited 20 minutes later, called back. I said, hey, I've been waiting here. Oh, it's been sitting up here. We'll bring it out now. I said, no. I said, can you please make that fresh for me? And, I don't know how long that's been sitting up there. So, and I get it. We're living in very, very uneasy times. These are challenges that no one ever thought that they had to deal with. And I have sympathy, for ones who are working in the restaurant industry, but it just goes to show just how this pandemic showed how much work needs to be done in the food economy just to make it run efficiently. And this pandemic really just showed some of the deficiencies, but like what that article brings out, it also showed how it can be an economic way of doing things with automation. And some of these numbers are staggering, of some of the money that these businesses can make doing this, Clayton. I had no idea.
It's building a business model to meet the need, and that's really the problem the food service industry and restaurants are having. Is they were already finding that the traditional model of a restaurant wasn't really meeting the need. As consumer tastes change, as people preferred to get food delivered to them, as that became possible, you get a variety of food, not just the traditional things you could get delivered. You can eat the food and sit on your couch and watch a movie. People started to prefer that, and the models that restaurant operators are using haven't changed. So now you've got a chance for a change that, good crisis shouldn't go to waste, right? So you build a new model. What's the best way to produce food for delivery? It's a kitchen that's set up just to deliver. These ghost kitchens can be set up. They don't need to be in a nice building. They can be in a warehouse. They can be in a garage. And so they can be local to where the customers are. So there's a short delivery time. They're set up just to produce food for delivery. The dishes are designed so they can be packaged and transported without degrading the food quality. And you can really build the economics of that operation around the delivery, where a usual restaurant is built around creating a great experience in the dining room. And nowadays, there aren't any great experiences in dining rooms because even if you can go sit in a dining room, there's nobody there, or you're sitting in a plastic bubble, or you're sitting on the sidewalk. It'll be a while before we have a great experience in a dining room again. And if you can't have a great experience in a dining room, why not be at home watching a movie?
I totally agree. I know, like my wife said, and these are her words, Clayton, not mine. You can eat naked if you want to. That was her. I didn't say that. That's what she said. And I'm looking at some of the data now too about how 52% of 53% of restaurants are closing because of COVID-19. And Clayton, we know about your company Picnic, food automation. You've been in robotics for a long time. How are you guys going to meet the need of the challenges of the new restaurant industry out there? And I know you don't want to share any of the industry secrets because, like we talked about last time, game is sold and not told. But what can you share with us, Clayton?
Well, as you said, I was at a conference in Los Angeles last fall, and I asked the audience how many people had even heard the term ghost kitchen, and maybe 25% of the people had even heard of a ghost kitchen. And now, this article comes out today from Restaurant Dive, basically saying that the ghost kitchen market is going to be worth $1 trillion in the next 10 years. And what they're saying is the ghost kitchen market is going to become the dominant model for food preparation for, as opposed to restaurants. People are going to be ordering food from ghost kitchens, and food for delivery will probably almost exclusively be prepared in ghost kitchens. And ghost kitchens, because they're set up to optimize production and efficiency and timing, automation is ideal for that. And we see the operators who are doing the ghost kitchens are looking for operating efficiencies, lowered costs, and the kind of data that you can get from automation. So you can look at ordering patterns. You're only preparing the right amount of food to meet a peak. You can optimize the timing, as we discussed earlier, for the delivery. Automation gives you lots of advantages, lots of data. It's a 21st century business for food service, and it's going to meet the way consumers want and need to consume food these days because the old models are broken.
And Clayton, who would have thought when we first met a little over 6 months ago at CES, the conversation we had would change and COVID-19 would rear its ugly head, and how that was just a game changer when it comes to a lot of people's visions out there. And that's one thing I really appreciate about our discussion and the discussion that we've had recently a few months ago was that you guys are always transformational over at Picnic. You guys are always thinking futuristic, and I appreciate all the information and the knowledge you give us when you come on the show and talk with us. Is there anything else, Clayton, out there you'd like to let us know about when it comes to ghost kitchens or automation or whatever, my friend? The floor is yours.
Sure. I would just point out another trend that is in parallel with the ghost kitchens. Already, people were already getting more and more prepared food from the grocery store, from the convenience store, from places that aren't traditional restaurants. And what you're going to see in the future, that trend is going to continue and grow. That's going to become the next place you pick up your food. So you're going to see prepared foods in convenience stores, in grocery stores, and what used to be a restaurant dish will be prepared in a retail environment. And again, those are environments that are ideally suited to automation because you've got a low level of staffing. You don't want to have a big cooking crew in your convenience store, but people want to go in, they want to grab a hot meal, or they want to grab and go sandwich, and they want that sandwich to be fresh and not one that's been sitting on the shelf for a week. And so the expectations that people have about the quality of food are still high, and they want it to be better than they can get today. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see retailers upping their game, having better food, more choices, and a lot of that's going to be prepared by automation. Some of the ways they got around that previously was buffets, salad bars, hot food bars, where you can kind of make your own and make your own quality. You can't have that anymore in the COVID time. No salad bars, no hot food bars. Everything's going to have to be packaged. And if it's got to be packaged, you don't want to have a bunch of workers in there packaging food. Again, social distancing in the kitchen, operating costs. It's an ideal environment for automation, and you're going to see automation playing a big part in those markets as well.
And at the forefront, it's going to be Clayton Wood and Picnic doing not doing their thing, Clayton, but doing their thing. I mean, because what you guys are able to do is truly awesome. And for me to see it up close and personal at CES, you guys are definitely on the right side of history when it comes to automation. And the one thing that I like too, like for some of the skeptics out there to talk about the economy and what it might do to jobs. I mean, right now these jobs are going anyway because of COVID-19, and robotics is kind of like how can I put it? It's the great equalizer. Someone like myself who is disabled, who would not be able to work in the kitchen as a chef, can be an automotive operator and make a pizza. That's pretty
That's
cool.
right.
That's pretty
We
cool.
saw it happen. We saw it happen, didn't we, Paul?
Yeah.
We trained you, and you graduated from Picnic University and made a pizza right there in just a few minutes.
I love it. So when people talk about it's going to take jobs, I think it's really going to create more jobs out there for especially the undeserved, not the underserved, but the underserved members of the population who have it hard to get a job. And Clayton, how can one find out more information about Picnic and just catch up on what you guys are doing?
Sure. So you can visit our website, hellopicnic.com. Follow us on Twitter at Picnic News. You can follow me on Twitter at CDub.
All right. Well, Clayton, my friend, always great to catch up with you. And CDub, do me a favor, take care of yourself during this pandemic. And always love the insight that you put on Twitter, automation and everything. Thank you so much. And please take care of yourself and your family.
Thanks very much, Paul. It's always a pleasure.
And that was my man, CDub. Love talking to him. Robotics expert. I'm glad he came on to talk to us about what a ghost kitchen is and what that means for the restaurant industry and how automation and robotics are really going to change the game. And folks, we're living in very, very interesting times. He and I talked before that we thought we may be out this pandemic right now or going back to some normalcy, but we see what happened when things are open prematurely. But I don't think that's going to happen again. But it's great to see what his company is doing when it comes to innovation and finding out what a ghost kitchen is. All right, well, I'm about to ghost y'all right now. It's time for me to leave. I'm up against the clock. Broadcast clock says get out of here. We have ABC News coming up at the top of the hour. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. Take care, folks. Always connect with me. PaulAmadeusLane.com. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.